Hi everyone, a bit of a different video request for today, but I'm actually going to go with it because I think it's really interesting and worthwhile. It's a really cool topic, but I have to start by saying I am absolutely no financial expert by any stretch of the imagination. I'm an artist, and yeah, if you want, to really dive into this topic, totally urge you to go and get professional paid advice on your situation right now, on where you're going, where your goals are, and yeah, have it tailored to you. Pay for that service. Don't just go and Google it. It's really, really important, and maybe get multiple opinions because you can't just rely on what someone else says. However, personal experience, a bit of a story behind maybe why I live the way I live. And the question was, which I think is pretty cool that someone thought that I had my ish together enough to actually ask this question. It was, how do you get to do all this stuff? How do you afford to do all this stuff? And I'm just going to extrapolate that a little bit and frame this more around why I prioritize living a good life and why I prioritize nice things and a nice life. Because I think that's like the bigger question, isn't it? It's we can afford things by working really hard and having multiple streams of income, and I'm totally down for that. But I have also been a workaholic, and I don't regret much in my life at all. Nothing, right? But I do wish that sometimes I took the pedal off the metal a little bit and chilled out. And so, going into my 30s, going into the rest of my life, I really want to and have a purposeful intention to set up my life in a way that gives me freedom and stability and peace of mind, and never having to rely on anyone else. So independence is really important to me. I'm not the most spontaneous person, but I would like to be more spontaneous, and my partner Ben is very spontaneous. So it's interesting. It's a very interesting topic, but let's dive into the beginning. The beginning is I have worked hard, and I worked before I was legally allowed to. So I worked at my pa's oyster lease, which was amazing, at my dad's carpentry shed studio thing. I worked as a dance teacher, and then as soon as I was 14 and 9 months, I got a job at Macca's, and then I had a job all through high school, finishing my high school certificate and stuff like that. It was a stressful time. I liked to be a straight A student as well, so there was that. And I always wanted to have my own income so that I could, I bought a car when I was 16. As soon as I got my license, I had a car, and that gave me a massive sense of independence and freedom, and I absolutely love that and would never trade that up. I have my own car now, thankfully, courtesy of Arbonne, but it's something that gives me a set of wheels. It's more it's, if you could extend that metaphor, it's you know what I'm saying. I really, really enjoy having a car, and I love road trips, and I love being able to just go when I need to go. I don't like relying on other people, and I totally respect you if you are an Uber type of gal or whatever. But yeah, that was a big thing for me. And then the other thing I often spent my money on, rather than parties and alcohol, and I don't regret that, but I do sometimes wish that I let my hair down a little bit more and had a bit more fun, but that's okay because I'm making up for it. So I spent a lot of my money on home things. That's always something that I have liked, even as a kid. Didn't have a house of my own, but I wanted my room to look nice, and I wanted nice things around me, and I wanted to make a space that felt like home. And I guess that speaks a lot to my star sign being a Cancer and having my own shell and living in that and being totally okay there. I'm very much a homemaker, home dweller, specimen, however you say that word. But I worked hard, and then I have always prioritized what makes me feel good as well. So travel is something that's always been on the list of what makes me feel good. And this is why, after really overworking to the point where I was making myself sick in our traditional business, when my friend came along and offered me another opportunity, that's why it took me like 10 seconds, 3 days, to be like, so are you coming over? Because I need to do this thing. And I was just very, very determined to change my situation, because I had, like you've probably heard on another video, I had read Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki when I was like 19, and I was forever thinking, okay, there's got to be a better way. There's definitely a better way, and I need to find that. And so, yeah, I always said that I was going to be retired by the time I was 30. So Arbonne has been my vehicle to allow me to do that. Yes, Arbonne has its ups and downs, or it has for me. And I think that's because of who I am and the changes that I've gone through, the personal development, the self-growth, the idea of, being probably too generous with some people, not just with things, but with my time, and learning to protect myself without completely shutting myself off, like actually still being the loving, compassionate, giving person that I am. I'm not tooting my own horn. That's just like, I'm quite a softie with people that I love and care about. And I have to be careful that I'm not a magnet for narcissists, basically. But yeah, it's been a priority of mine, and I set goals to achieve certain things. And achievement might be a dirty word for you, but if you're watching this, hopefully not, because to be like in charge of your life and in charge of how you live your life. I'm not talking about following trends and becoming like the biggest influencer you can possibly be and having what everyone else is having. If you want a nice life for you, and whatever success looks like for you and a nice life looks like for you, that's totally cool. But setting goals and having little milestone rewards along the way, and then one big reward at the end, it all comes down to really smart goal setting, and then smart work to goal get. You've got to go deep, you've got to go long, you've got to go hard. It's like, you really got to commit, and visualization is a big part of that for me. So I have a Pinterest board each year about the things that I want to like maybe tangibly achieve, but there's a lot that also I want to achieve in my soul, in how I feel. And this year, as much as I haven't made the most money I've ever made this year, because I've been actually like building things that will become other vehicles that speak directly to my passions and allow me to create. So sometimes you have to have like a building phase. We all do this. We all have seasons, whether we have a job or we have businesses, or you have both, which is great. We all have to like goal set, go with the seasons, and bloom and build when we need to. And that's totally fine. But set goals, do the work necessary, visualize, prioritize. And if you, so to get like down into the nitty gritty, if you're adding things to your cart on a regular basis, go and unsubscribe from all of those type of things in your email inbox. And if you're adding anything to your cart, you've just got to let it sit there for like 24 hours or more. If those things sell out, they weren't meant for you. But also it allows you to come back to that or completely forget about it. And if that happens, then they definitely weren't for you. But if you come back to that and you consider that, and you consider, okay, does this add value to my life right now? Is this my priority? Is this in line with my goals? Like, go and read Barefoot Investor. I really do dig that, but I don't think it's the be all and end all. I think it really everyone's situation is different, and I have just prioritized undergoing a transformation of my style and my wardrobe and my life, and that starts from within. It truly, truly does. And to be committed to something, and to work hard at something, and to work smart with something, and be creative with that, and let things take their natural time. Do push yourself when you need to push yourself, but also know that your time will come too. Then yeah, I hope that has been useful. It's a shortened, abridged version of the story, but yeah, I hope this serves you in some way, and you do you.